A very pleasant good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Big Stone Television. First, I want to applaud the courage and the energy of Mark Myrie, aka Buju Banton. Every single man has his own right to decide his own destiny. So, with Buju Banton attending the 85th annual conference of the People's National Party in support of comrade leader Mark Jefferson Golden, he has every right to do that. And for those who are bashing him, also have every right to do that. But one right does not override the other. Each person has their own opinion and has their own right to say in a democratic country what they want to say. Now, there's an argument on TikTok about the bell. The bell as a symbol of the Jamaica Labour Party. Now, we must not argue stupidly. When we argue, we must argue in order to teach our youngsters the truth and not be biased one side or the other. The bell in itself, and let's go to the history of the bell. The bell became the symbol of the Jamaica Labour Party, founded in 1943. And at that time, most Jamaicans were functional illiterate. The British colonial administration didn't care about educating poor black people. So each party had to pick a symbol to appear next to their name on the ballots. The Jamaica Labour Party picked the symbol of the bell, and the People's National Party picked the symbol of the head. So that's where it started. But let's go back to what the bell represents in slavery. And I'm not trying to be biased here about what the bell represents in the Jamaica Labour Party. Certainly, I don't think Bustamante ever thought of using the bell in a negative manner towards our people. Let's say he didn't thought of it. Let's go now to the bell and see how the bell came into existence in slavery. Enslaved people were always kept under watchful eyes by the owners. This iron was crafted by an unknown blacksmith. A bell inserted into the flat base rang as the iron moved back and forth, making it possible for owners to monitor the enslaved men and women by sound. Now let's dig deeper as to why did slaves wear collars with bells. This collar with bells would have been used to deter attempted escape by a slave that had previously tried to win his or her freedom by running away. Runaway slave advertisements were a regular feature in the New Orleans papers. What were the plantation bells used for? Let's go. Mamillion in 1825 for enslaved Africans who were not given their own pocket watches or clocks to check the time. The bell was used to communicate daily schedules. The ringing of the bell is very important because the plantations are long and the way you communicate on the plantation is with bells. Let's go. There's even more. Why did the black slave wear iron collars? Slaves known for running away might have had to wear an iron collar like this for punishment or to prevent them from running away again. The hooks caught in bushes or tree limb causing a violent jerk into the individual neck and head. Why did slaves wear chains? Made of solid iron with a simple twist lock, these chains were used to restrain the feet or ankles of slaves, allowing walking but preventing running are kicking. Now, Jamaica, on the 10th of September, I purposely, without being coerced by anyone, bought a chain, put a padlock on it. I have access to the keys. And I stand to the side of the stage. Hopefully, the reporter or reporters, whether radio or television, would notice me. And then I was given the indication to walk on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, would you believe the amount of hullabaloo that caused? It caused my name to be on every radio station, every talk show, every single newspaper article. People from all over the world called me, some on a positive level and some on a negative level. When I wore those chains was not to mock my people. Those chains were to remind my people of the struggles of separation and bondage. And I'm entitled to do that. And you're entitled to criticize if you want. When you look at the Jews and what happened to them, these people, human beings, Hitler enslaved Jews, put them in a torture chamber and burned them to death. They have every right to every year think about the Holocaust and what happened to them. Over 6 million people were murdered. They have every single right to remember it and to teach it to their children. Lest we forget, they say. We must never forget what happened. They have a task force, and they put that task force out there to search for any Nazi or Nazi associate that had anything to do with the Holocaust and hunt them down, find them, take them to trial, and if they're found guilty, they're executed. This chain that I wore created such a talk, which I'm very happy that it did, because we must teach our children that we did not come from the lines of slavery. We came as kings and queens from Africa. We were also enslaved by some black people who actually enslaved us. We must teach our children the truth. We must never be biased for political sides. I am not a political biased man. I'm a man for the truth, rights, and for justice. We must teach our children that when they enslaved us and put this chain on us, we must remember that we were in that situation. And the Honorable Marcus Garvey said it. He said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, which is the worst kind of slavery. The worst kind of slavery is for you to be enslaved mentally. Steve Banton said, the most powerful weapon in the hands of our oppressors are the minds of the oppressed. Let me repeat that. The most powerful weapon in the hands of our oppressors are the minds of our oppressed. The minds. The Honorable Marcus Garvey taught you about emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free ourselves. None but you. You also talk about the second emancipation. The first emancipation came from chattel slavery. But the second emancipation, which is most important, must come from you freeing your mind, loving who you are, walk with pride and dignity as an African. I am an African Jamaican. I have no shame of wearing that chain, and it needs be for the reasons that I know deeply in my heart that I have to wear this chain to create this paradigm shift, to create what you call a controversy, that people can start talking again. People can start loving each other again, to understand that we were united when we came through the belly of those ships, one they called Jesus. When we were packed like sardine and men used to stay on top and urinate on the slaves on the bottom. When the slaves themselves defecate and urinate, and that stench in the place of Siminomore. Siminomore, where they house slaves, they were packed in the jam racked in there until they were delivered to different parts. So we must not forget this chain. We must use this chain now as a way to change, a way to move forward, a way to understand our purpose. I know my purpose. You must learn your purpose. Never be biased, man. Never get caught up. They say Rasta mustn't get involved in Pankara. What are you talking about? If you're in a situation and you need to see it corrected, and there's a good and there's an evil, or there's a greater evil and a lesser evil, which one would you choose? So you have to understand, we must understand our history. I've heard one person on TikTok talking about, well, I don't want to remember nothing about no chain. I don't want to teach my children them about no chain and no slavery. We are free people now. My brother, my brother, my brother. Open up your eyes, my brother, and understand that the reason why we have bleaching at the alarming rate that we do, not just in Jamaica, but in Africa, is because of our minds are on slaves. Who make all that money from these bleaching cream? Who make all this money from this bleaching cream? Millions of dollars. You have our women who would have natural long hair and they would go to the hairdresser and cut it and put in hair. I've seen people who have nice eyebrow and they would shave their eyebrow and put in a tattoo eyebrow. I was always proud of who I am. I was always proud of my heritage. I would never disrespect the likes of Nelson Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. I would never, because I know these men suffered. Sam Sharp is one of my favorite heroes. My most favorite, as you know, is Honorable Marcus Garvey, but Sam Sharp means a lot to me. Sam Sharp was offered freedom when they had him in the cage, because I went to Sam Sharp Square and I saw the history and know the history. They built a makeshift housing area to house Sam Sharp. And he was looking through the windows at the gallows, the slave. He was looking through the slave bars at the gallows being built. And because Sam Sharp was an educated man who was self-taught and brilliant and was very valuable to his white enslavers, they didn't want to kill Sam Sharp. You know what they said to him? Sam, we will offer you freedom. And you know what Sam Sharp said? I'd rather die in yonder gallows to live the life of a slave. So on September 10th, we were awakened to a new paradigm shift. A shift where we must start to teach our children and come face to face with the truth. Mark Jefferson Goldman was given the key to remove that chain. My neck was held by my own hands. I walked on that stage. There are other pictures around of a politician looking down on slaves being bounded by neck. Young boys, they're bounded by their feet. They were sitting on the ground and that politician was looking down. That's a depiction. What I did was a depiction that lest we forget. We shall not say one is greater than the other, one is lesser than the other. Pops Grange is someone that I have the ultimate respect and love for. I said it in many of my videos. She works tirelessly in the music fraternity. Some people might say otherwise, but it is my right to say that. It is my right to say what I want to say. This is Jamaica. This is what our ancestors fought and died for. Every man has a right to decide his own destiny. Buju Banton, I salute you, my brother. Continue to work assiduously, Mark Myrie. You're here for purpose. Rise to greatness. Rise to greatness, Jamaica. This is a beautiful country, and I want to spend my whole age in this country with my people who are well learned about who we are. Bob Marley said, in this great future, we cannot forget our past. Ziggy Marley said, tomorrow, children, where is your past? And Marcus Garvey, Right Honorable His Excellency Marcus Garvey said these words, a people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. If you have no confidence in self, you are not once defeated but twice. But with confidence, you won before you even started. God and nature made us who we are, but we, through our own creative genius, make ourselves who we want to be. I love you, my Jamaican people. You have a right to criticize. Never let anyone take that right away from you. And in your criticism, go back now and learn the truth. Don't be misled by some people with their own folly, stupid ideology. Go and research the truth. We're now bombarded by a wealth of knowledge that we can find the truth. Have a nice day. Please like and share this video. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, now is the time to do so. Thank you so much for